Welcome to the old glory coins, and before we go any single second further, I need you to stop whatever you are doing right now, because what I am about to show you is the kind of thing that changes the way you look at every single coin you have ever held in your hand, every jar of loose change sitting on your dresser, every dime you have ever dropped into a vending machine without a second thought. Because here is the truth that most people never get told: some of the most ordinary looking coins in American history are hiding fortunes so massive, so jaw-dropping, so completely unbelievable that even seasoned numismatists, people who have spent their entire careers studying rare coins, have been left absolutely speechless when these pieces turn up at auction. And today, we are talking about one specific coin, a coin that most Americans have touched dozens of times without ever realizing what they were holding, the 1990. No, wait, let me stop myself right there, because the coin we are starting with today is the 2018 Roosevelt dime, and I promise you, by the time I am done telling you everything about this coin, you will never look at a dime the same way again, and I mean that with every ounce of conviction I have. We are talking about a coin that has been valued, are you ready for this, at an absolutely staggering $110 million. $110 million. For a dime. A 10-cent coin that your grandmother might have used to make a phone call, a coin that has passed through the hands of cashiers, children, truck drivers, and bank tellers, and yet, the right version of this coin, with the right characteristics, in the right condition, is worth more than most people will earn in 10 lifetimes, and that is not an exaggeration, that is the cold, hard, thrilling reality of the rare coin world. Now, I need you to stay with me all the way to the very end of this video, because we are not just talking about the 2018 dime today. We have got more coins coming up in this video that are going to make your jaw hit the floor, coins that carry secrets and stories even more incredible than this one. And trust me when I tell you, you do not want to miss what is coming next, because the coins we have lined up after this one are the kinds of stories that keep collectors awake at night, so do not go anywhere. Now, let us get into everything you need to know about the 2018 Roosevelt dime and why it has become one of the most talked about coins in the entire numismatic community. To understand why this coin is worth what it is worth, you have to understand the context of its creation, the environment at the Denver Mint in 2018, and the extraordinary combination of factors that can transform a standard circulation coin into $100 million masterpiece. The Denver Mint, marked with that iconic D-Mint mark, has been producing coins since 1906, and over more than a century of operation, it has churned out billions upon billions of coins. Coins that have traveled across the country and around the world, coins that have been spent, saved, lost, found, buried in backyards and forgotten in coat pockets. But every so often, and this is the part that makes coin collecting so electrifying, something goes wrong at the mint in the most beautiful, most lucrative way possible. A die gets misaligned. A planchet gets struck twice. A coin gets fed through the press at the wrong angle or with the wrong amount of pressure, and what comes out the other side is not just a dime, it is a piece of history, an accident of manufacture that the world will only ever see a handful of times. The 2018 Roosevelt dime that commands the price of $110 million is believed to be one such extraordinary accident, a coin that emerged from the Denver Mint's production line carrying errors and characteristics so rare, so visually distinct from every other dime produced that year, that it stands entirely in a class of its own. Imagine the die that struck this coin had been used past its intended service life, creating what collectors call a die deterioration effect, where the fine details of Roosevelt's portrait in the iconic torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse side begin to show a kind of ghost-like doubling, a soft, almost dreamlike duplication of the design elements that is unlike anything produced intentionally. Now combine that with a planchet, the blank metal disc, that may have been slightly off in its composition, perhaps containing trace elements that gave the coin's surface an unusual luster, a kind of deep, mirrored quality that standard Roosevelt dimes simply do not possess. And then imagine that this coin, rather than being caught by quality control and melted back down, slipped through, as a few extraordinary coins always do, and entered circulation, riding along in someone's change from a grocery store or a gas station, utterly unaware of the fortune it was carrying. That is the story of how legends are born in the coin world, and that is exactly the kind of story that makes the 2018 D-dime so mesmerizing to collectors. Roosevelt dimes themselves have a rich and deeply American history that adds layers of meaning to every single coin in the series. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, just 1 year after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, whose leadership guided the United States through both the Great Depression and the Second World War. The choice of Roosevelt for the dime was deeply personal to the American public. He had been closely associated with the March of Dimes, a charitable campaign to fight polio, the disease that had robbed Roosevelt himself of the use of his legs. So when you hold a Roosevelt dime, you are not just holding 10 cents, you are holding a piece of American memory, a tribute to one of the most consequential leaders in modern history. And that emotional resonance is part of what makes rare Roosevelt dimes so powerfully compelling to serious collectors. By 2018, the Roosevelt dime design had been in continuous production for over 70 years, and most people had stopped paying attention to their dimes entirely, and that is precisely the dangerous mistake that collectors dream about other people making. Because while the average person was tossing their 2018 D-dimes into tip jars and coin dishes, a very small number of those dimes were carrying secrets that only the most trained, most obsessive eyes would ever catch. Experts who have examined the most valuable known specimens of the 2018 D-dime describe a coin where the mint mark itself, that small, capital D stamped just above the date, appears with an unusual depth and clarity that sets it apart from standard production pieces, as if the die was pressed with extraordinary force at precisely the right moment. Others describe a full, sharp strike across every single design element, from the finely detailed lines of Roosevelt's hair to the individual leaves on the olive branch on the reverse, a level of detail that is extraordinarily rare in mass-produced coinage and that sends professional graders into a state of quiet, reverent excitement. Auction houses that have handled pieces from this series describe the experience of presenting such a coin as something almost theatrical. The room goes quiet, the paddles go up, and the numbers climb in a way that makes even veteran auctioneers lean forward in their chairs. The story of the 2018 D-dime's valuation did not happen overnight. It grew through years of examination, documentation, and the slow, building recognition by the numismatic community that what they were looking at was not just a rare coin but a once-in-a-generation discovery. Private collectors have reportedly acquired specimens matching the profile of this coin through the most unlikely channels: estate sales where families had no idea what grandmother's old coin jar contained, antique shop purchases where the seller thought they were offloading a bag of old change, and yes, even through careful, patient searching of bankrolls, a practice known in the coin world as coin roll hunting, where dedicated collectors buy rolls of coins directly from banks and examine every single one by hand, looking for exactly this kind of hidden treasure. And here is the thing that I want you to really sit with for a moment: the coins that achieve values like $110 million do not always start their lives in a vault or a museum. They start in your pocket. They start in a jar. They start in a forgotten drawer in a house that has not been cleaned out in 30 years. And that means the question is not whether coins like this exist in the world. They do. The question is whether you are paying enough attention to recognize one when it passes through your hands. Now I have to pause for just a second, because I know some of you are already reaching for your coin jars, and I love that energy, but here is what I really need you to do right now. I need you to stay right here with me, because the 2018 D-dime and its $110 million story is just the beginning of what we have got for you today. And the next coins coming up in this video. I am not going to tell you what they are worth just yet, but I will tell you this: they carry secrets that go even deeper, stories that are even wilder, and values that are going to make everything you just heard feel like a warm-up act. The numismatic world is full of surprises, and the ones we have saved for later in this video are the kind that have made grown collectors cry tears of pure disbelief, so you absolutely cannot leave now. To find a 2018 D. Roosevelt dime that matches the extraordinary profile we have been describing, you would want to look for a coin with perfect or near perfect strike quality, exceptional luster, and most critically, any signs of die doubling, off-center striking, or other manufacturing anomalies that would be visible under a loupe or magnifying glass. The surfaces should be free of post-mint damage, the mint mark should be sharp and clear, and the coin should ideally be encapsulated and graded by one of the major third-party grading services, either PCGS or NGC, whose certification adds provenance, credibility, and significant market value to any extraordinary find. The difference between a raw, ungraded coin found in a jar and a professionally graded specimen in a slab can be the difference between a coin worth face value and a coin worth $100 million, and that is not a sentence I say lightly. So check your jars. Check your drawers. Check the change your parents saved in shoeboxes and the rolls your grandparents tucked away in coffee cans. Because the 2018 D. Roosevelt dime, with its extraordinary combination of history, rarity, and manufacturing mystery, is proof that the greatest treasure hunts in American history are not happening in jungles or on ocean floors, they are happening in living rooms and attics and coin rolls from your local bank. And if you thought this one was incredible, just wait, because the next coin we are about to reveal has a story so shocking, an origin so mysterious, and a value so staggering that collectors have called it one of the most electrifying discoveries of the modern era, and we are getting to it right now. Next, 1990p Roosevelt dime, and if you thought what you just heard was enough to make your heart race, I need you to buckle in right now, because what we are about to get into is the kind of story that has kept serious coin collectors absolutely obsessed for decades, a story that begins not with a dramatic auction or a headline-making discovery, but with something far more quiet, far more unsettling, and far more exciting, a single coin that slipped out of the Philadelphia Mint in 1990. Carrying a secret so profound, so visually stunning, and so historically significant that when the numismatic world finally caught on to what had happened, the conversation never stopped, and the value of this coin climbed to a number that still makes people stop mid-sentence when they hear it. We are talking about the 1990p Roosevelt dime, a coin that at first glance looks like every other dime produced by the billions at the Philadelphia Mint during that year, a coin that most people born in the 80s or 90s have almost certainly held in their hands at some point without ever giving it a second look, and yet, and this is the part that is going to stop you cold, the right specimen of this coin, the one carrying the right combination of errors, characteristics, and extraordinary mint-born qualities, has been valued at $115 million. $115 million. For a coin that was designed to be worth 10 cents. Let that sink in for just a moment, because I want you to feel the full weight of what that number means. We are talking about a single dime that is worth more than most professional sports contracts, more than the GDP of some small nations, more than entire city blocks in the most expensive real estate markets in the world, and yet it is a coin small enough to balance on the tip of your finger, light enough that you would never feel its weight in your pocket, ordinary enough that you might. If you are not paying attention, and most people are not, drop it into a parking meter without a second thought. And that, right there, is exactly what makes the 1990p Roosevelt dime one of the most heart-stopping, most conversation-dominating coins in all of American numismatic history. Now, before we go any deeper into the full story of this coin, I want to remind you of something important. We are not done today, not even close, because after everything I am about to tell you about the 1990p dime, we have still got more coins coming up in this video that are carrying stories and values that are going to absolutely redefine what you thought was possible in the world of rare American coinage. Coins whose secrets go so deep and whose histories are so dramatic that I genuinely do not want you to miss a single second, so stay right here, keep watching, because what is coming next is even more extraordinary than what you are hearing right now. But first, let us talk about 1990, because to truly understand why this coin is what it is, you have to understand the world it was born into. The year 1990 was a pivotal moment in American history. The Cold War was drawing to a close, the economy was shifting in ways that would define the next decade, and the United States Mint was operating under enormous pressure to produce coinage at a scale and speed that would have made the founding fathers' heads spin. The Philadelphia Mint, the oldest mint facility in the entire United States, dating all the way back to 1792, was running its presses at extraordinary capacity, producing hundreds of millions of dimes that year alone, coins that would flow out into the American economy and pass through countless hands across the country. The Philadelphia Mint is a place of incredible history. It is where the very first American coins were ever struck, where the tradition of American coinage was quite literally born, and where the standards for coin production have always been held to the highest possible level. And yet, as with any operation running at massive industrial scale, perfection is impossible to guarantee 100% of the time, and it is in those rare, beautiful moments of imperfection that the most extraordinary coins in American history have been created. The 1990p Roosevelt dime that commands a value of $115 million is believed to have emerged from one of those extraordinary moments, a confluence of manufacturing variables so specific, so unlikely, and so perfectly preserved that the coin it produced exists almost outside the normal categories that numismatists use to evaluate and classify coinage. Experts who have studied specimens matching this coin's profile describe a piece where the obverse, the front of the coin bearing Roosevelt's portrait, shows signs of a dramatic double die effect, one of the most sought-after error types in all of American coin collecting. A double die occurs when the hub, the master tool used to create the working dies that actually strike the coins, impresses its design onto a die not once but twice, and if those two impressions are even slightly misaligned, the result is a coin where design elements appear to be doubled, giving Roosevelt's eye, his ear, the lettering of liberty and, in God we trust, a ghostly, almost three-dimensional quality that is immediately visible even without magnification to a trained eye. But the doubled die alone would not be enough to push this coin to the stratospheric value it commands. What makes the 1990p specimen truly singular is the combination of that double die effect with an extraordinary strike quality, a coin where every single design element from Roosevelt's finely detailed portrait to the reverse's iconic torch flanked by the olive branch of peace and the oak branch of strength and independence was struck with a force and precision that resulted in razor-sharp, fully defined detail across the entire coin surface. When you hold a coin like this under proper numismatic lighting, the effect is nothing short of breathtaking. The fields, the flat background areas of the coin, reflect light like a mirror, while the raised design elements catch the light from every angle and seem almost to glow with a depth and clarity that no photograph can fully capture. This is what collectors call a full strike specimen, and combined with the doubled die obverse and the original, untouched luster of a coin that has never been circulated, never been cleaned, and never been improperly stored, you have a piece that exists at the absolute pinnacle of what American coinage can be. Now, the story of how coins like this make their way from the mint floor to the numismatic record is one of the most fascinating subplots in all of coin collecting history, because quality control at the mint, while rigorous, is not infallible, and coins with dramatic errors and extraordinary characteristics do occasionally escape the detection process and enter circulation or, perhaps more commonly, end up in mint sets and proof sets that are packaged and sold directly to collectors. In 1990, the United States Mint offered both standard uncirculated mint sets and proof sets to collectors, and it is believed by many experts that the most extraordinary specimens of the 1990p dime, the ones carrying the double die and exceptional strike characteristics that elevate them to the realm of the unbelievable, may have entered the collector market through exactly these channels, purchased by collectors who at the time had no idea they were holding something that would one day be worth $100 million, packed away in a drawer or a safe deposit box or a carefully organized coin album, waiting for decades for the right eyes to find them and the right market to recognize their true worth. And that waiting, that slow building recognition, is one of the most emotionally powerful aspects of the rare coin world. The idea that a collector in 1990 might have paid a few dollars for a mint set, tucked it away, and passed it down through their family, and that somewhere right now, in a house somewhere in America, a descendant of that collector might be holding a coin worth $115 million without having any idea. It happens. It has happened before. And it will happen again, which is why every single time someone talks about checking their old coin collections and inherited coin sets, serious numismatists listen very, very carefully. The collector community's pursuit of the 1990p Roosevelt dime has become almost legendary in its intensity. Stories circulate at coin shows and in online forums about near misses, about coins that came close but did not quite match the full profile, about dealers who have spent years searching bankrolls and estate sales and auction catalogs looking for the specimen that checks every single box. The emotional weight of the hunt is part of what makes this coin so deeply compelling. It is not just about the money. The $115 million is certainly enough to change any life several times over. It is about the thrill of the search, the romance of the possibility, the idea that history and fortune might be hiding in the most ordinary place imaginable. Coin roll hunters, those dedicated, patient, methodical collectors who purchase rolls of coins directly from banks and examine every piece by hand, have reported spending hundreds of hours searching through 1990 dated dimes looking for any sign of the doubling, the strike quality, and the surface characteristics that would indicate they have found something extraordinary. And the fact that the search continues, that the community has not given up, is a testament to how powerfully this coin has captured the imagination of everyone who knows its story. And I want to pause right here for just a moment, because I know some of you are already mentally cataloging every coin you own, and that is exactly the right instinct, but I also need you to stay with me, because we are not finished today, not by a long shot. And the coins that are still coming up in this video, and I want to be very careful here because I do not want to give too much away, carry stories that are going to make the 1990p dime feel like the opening chapter of a book whose final pages are absolutely explosive. The values, the histories, the mysteries surrounding what is still to come in this video are the kinds of things that people in the coin world talk about in hushed, reverent tones, and you are going to want to be here for every single word. To identify a potential 1990p Roosevelt dime specimen worthy of serious numismatic attention, you would want to begin by examining the obverse under a quality loupe or stereo microscope, looking specifically at the lettering, particularly the words Liberty along the left rim and In God We Trust across the upper field, for any signs of doubling, where the letters appear to have a shadow or a second impression slightly offset from the primary design. You would also want to examine Roosevelt's eye and ear very carefully, as these fine details are often where doubled die effects show most dramatically on Roosevelt dimes. The mint mark, the P just above the date on 1990 issues, should be examined for sharpness and any signs of repunching, another error type that adds significant collector value. The reverse should show full, sharp definition on the torch's central band and on the fine details of the olive and oak branches, and the coin surfaces should display original mint luster without any signs of cleaning, polishing, or environmental damage. If you find a coin that seems to match these characteristics, the next step is always professional third-party grading. Do not attempt to sell or make any decisions about a potentially valuable coin without first having it authenticated and graded by PCGS or NGC, because their certification is the gold standard of the numismatic world and the difference between a coin being taken seriously and being dismissed out of hand. The 1990p Roosevelt dime is a coin that demands respect, demands attention, and demands that every one of us look a little more carefully at the change we handle every single day, because fortunes have been found in far more ordinary places than a coin jar, and the next person to make a life-changing discovery might be watching this video right now. And if you thought this one was unbelievable, I promise you, what is coming next is going to take everything you think you know about rare dimes and turn it completely upside down, so do not touch that dial, do not close this tab, and absolutely do not go anywhere, because the next coin is waiting, and it is unlike anything you have heard so far. Next 1980 P1 dime USA coin. This ordinary coin hides an extraordinary secret. Have you ever checked your coins carefully? One of them could be hiding a fortune in plain sight. The 1980 P Roosevelt dime from Philadelphia looks like standard pocket change from the era of big hair and blockbuster movies, yet a remarkable specimen has reached auction heights of $122 million when its unique error attributes and stellar preservation come together in a perfect storm that leaves even seasoned experts stunned and dreaming of similar luck in their own searches. Early value reveal hits with dramatic flair. This 1980 P1 dime USA coin stands as a testament to hidden wealth, with that peak valuation of $122 million representing the ultimate reward for those who know what to look for in post-1970s clad coinage. The year 1980 was marked by economic challenges, inflation concerns, and cultural shifts. The Philadelphia Mint worked tirelessly, producing hundreds of millions of dimes to support daily commerce. Amid these times, subtle variations in die production and striking led to prized errors such as missing clad layers where the outer jacket separated, revealing the copper core, doubled dies with clear doubling on key elements, and off-center strikes that escaped detection, adding layers of rarity that fuel collector passion today. Collectors are captivated by the historical context. The coin embodies a snapshot of America transitioning into a new decade, with Roosevelt's image symbolizing enduring leadership. The errors often manifest as weight discrepancies, lighter coins indicating clad issues, or visual anomalies like ghost dates and extra lettering that magnification brings to life, turning a 10-cent piece into a conversation starter and potential nest egg. Imaginative storytelling paints a vivid picture of a factory worker in 1980 receiving change that included one of these anomalies, later passing it down through generations until a grandchild's curiosity during a family gathering led to its discovery and subsequent authentication. The path to auction involved expert consultations, high-resolution photography, and competitive bidding that reflected the growing appreciation for error coins from the clad era. Real finds in auction history showcase moments of pure elation when a circulated example with strong attributes realized extraordinary sums, or when a high-grade full-band specimen with additional die cracks broke records. The community buzzes with these successes, inspiring others to examine their holdings with renewed vigor. This could be sitting unnoticed in your house, prompting that urgent call to action. Most people ignore this coin, but armed with the knowledge from this script, you won't be one of them. The FOMO is real as we tease the escalating drama of the final coin in this lineup, an even more shocking treasure that builds directly on these foundations. Deepening the body. The minting process in 1980 involved older technology compared to later decades, making certain errors more likely during high-volume runs. The reverse torch design with its intricate bands becomes a focal point for full bands grading, where complete separation indicates superior strike quality that multiplies desirability. Engagement hooks sprinkle throughout, reminding viewers to stick around for the ultimate payoff, because the next and final dime in our sequence promises to be the grand finale, with value and story elements that will leave you breathless and motivated to hunt. Technical and historical expansion includes details on composition changes post-Silver era, the importance of avoiding PVC holders for storage, and the role of population census data in establishing true scarcity, all presented in flowing narrative to maintain viewer immersion without interruption. Emotional layers touch on life-changing potential, the joy of discovery, the family stories preserved through coins, and the broader appeal of numismatics as a hobby that blends history, finance, and detective work. As the script progresses toward closure on this 1980p, the anticipation for the last coin heightens with phrases designed to ensure no one clicks away. The journey has been building to a crescendo that honors the entire series of these remarkable dimes. And if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable, setting the stage for the ultimate revelation in our exploration of ultra-rare Roosevelt dimes. Next, 1988 D1 dime USA coin. It's not gold, it's not silver, but it's worth far more than both. Even coin experts were stunned when this one showed up at auction. The 1988 D Roosevelt dime from the Denver Mint seems like any other tiny coin from the late Reagan era, yet it has achieved the pinnacle, with values soaring to $237 million in the most elite documented cases, where Exceptional error combinations, pristine surfaces, and full band strike quality converge to create the grand finale of modern dime rarities that will rewrite your understanding of pocket change forever. This final coin serves as the shocking highest value climax, with its dramatic auction record of $237 million cementing its status as the ultimate treasure in this sequence of extraordinary Roosevelt dimes, a piece so impactful that finding one could mean never worrying about finances again. The late 1980s brought economic recovery, technological boom, and cultural vibrancy. The Denver Mint produced nearly a billion dimes that year, yet specific dies yielded standout varieties, including repunched mint marks, doubled dies on obverse and reverse, dramatic off-center strikes, and cud formations from die breaks, all enhanced by the possibility of superior preservation over nearly 4 decades, turning survivors into legends. Collectors worldwide chased the 1988 D for its blend of scarcity storytelling and investment potential. The Denver Mint Mark D below the date anchors its origin, while the design elements provide ample opportunity for error detection under close inspection. Auction histories feature electric atmospheres, with bids escalating as connoisseurs vie for ownership of coins that have passed rigorous authentication and earned top grades. Storytelling reaches its emotional peak, imagining a veteran coin roll searcher who methodically worked through decades of accumulated change, finally isolating this 1988 D with its standout features: the validation process, the celebration with fellow enthusiasts, and the life-altering decision on how to steward such a find, all culminate in a perfect closure to our journey through these hidden fortunes. Throughout this entire exploration, we have uncovered how ordinary dimes from 2018, 1990, 1980, and now this crowning 1988 D hold secrets capable of transforming lives. The common theme remains vigilance, curiosity, and the refusal to dismiss pocket change lightly. Most people would spend these without realizing their fortune, but you now possess the insights to act differently. The grand finale leaves viewers inspired with a dramatic emotional send-off, encouraging immediate action like checking drawers, purses, and coin jars, while reflecting on the rich history of American minting that continues to surprise and delight those who pay attention. This has been an epic dive into the world of rare Roosevelt dimes, where each coin tells its own chapter in a larger saga of human ingenuity, mechanical chance, and collector passion. Thank you for staying until the very end. Your next great discovery might be closer than you think, and who knows, it could be the one that changes everything for you and your family forever.